Was a girl running in our group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford Coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look out, buddy, hot rod and large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod.
We're talking about the recalls on these cars, and we're talking about what's going on in the car business. And I've just told you a few things, but I have so much more that is changing, making different. It's making a. Right now, the situation in America, we're making a huge dent in the car business because they're not selling them, and they will sell more if they will get them priced right, get the interest rates down. But they can't. They have no control over a lot of that stuff. The price right they have control over. Well, that comes from the factory, though. The Biden FTC car buying consumer rules were immediately tossed out by the U.S. Appeals Court after the election. A U.S. Appeals Court on Monday threw out rules adopted by Biden's administration to ban bait-and-switch tactics. Oh, you know those. And prohibit auto dealers charging for add-on costs that do not benefit new car buyers. Sir Charles will tell us all about that in a minute. He got hauled into that extras room. The 5th District U.S. District Court of Appeals, in a 2-1 decision in response to no legal challenges by the National Automobile Dealers Association and a Texas dealer group, said the Federal Trade Commission had violated procedural rules in writing the regulation without giving advance notice of the planned regulation. Wow, that's a tongue twister. And I got to tell you, they just want you to think they're selling cars. They want you to think that these cars are the best. The rule, which was proposed in 2022 and finalized in January 24, put on hold pending the legal challenge, required upfront pricing in dealers' advertising and sales discussions, and informed consent from consumers before charging for any item. Any item. We talked about this at one point. The FTC had said the new rules would bar junk fees, like a service contract for an oil change for an electric vehicle. You don't need an oil change on your electric vehicle. And a duplicative warranty, and estimated it would save customers more than $3.4 billion and an estimated 72 million hours annually shopping for vehicles. NADA President Mike Stanton called the decision a victory for the rule of law and a great outcome for consumers. Charles, that little room they hauled you into, didn't they want to send you or sell you a insurance on your key fob?
They had key fob insurance, so they had all these different things, and so yeah. Well, and that was one of the things is that when we agreed on the price, they said don't even bother. He brought me the 2 prices. He brought me the 2 sheets. He brought me one with all the add-ons, and I just kind of looked at him. He looked at me. He tossed it out. So I know better, because that's we had a good relationship, so he already knew kind of who I was. And he said, I'm not to bother, trying to sell me.
You're not going to buy it,
right?
You're not going to buy it. And they had all kinds of extras. You could buy,
Well, it was funny because, you know what I was thinking about? And again, I don't blame the dealership for this necessarily, but they were trying to sell me on the etching stuff. You know what the etchings?
No.
They put, I guess they etch your VIN number on a bunch of places.
Or part of it, yeah, on the glass.
Well, in a lot of different places, they put stickers. So they were trying to sell me on this. And then I realized after I got the car home, they must have sold the poor sucker before me on that because they already had the stickers on them. So they were trying to sell me on a product that already was on the car.
It was already on the car.
And I'm sure they wouldn't have said, sorry, sir, never mind, you already have it. We don't need to charge an extra $1,500 for etching.
$1,500.
Whatever it was, $750, whatever.
It doesn't matter.
When you're rolling it all in, how much is my payment? You don't look at that stuff.
I had a girlfriend back after high school.
You better be careful with that story.
I know. This is way before everybody else. And she was a waitress. And their big thing as a waitress was to build that ticket.
Sure.
The boss was telling them,
Pad the ticket. Pad the ticket.
If they need you be right there. If they empty a Coke, you go running over there and see if they want another one.
Yep.
And make sure you try and sell dessert.
Oh, yeah.
You got to build that ticket up to make this car profitable for us.
Because that's where your money's at.
Exactly. Well, here's something we're going to talk about, Chuck. And I'm not... You remember all the stories we did about Teslas running into fire trucks and all this other stuff? Well, they have a reason. They know what happened. I knew they would come up with something. I don't know if it's true or not, but of course you never know if it's true or not if it's printed in one of these rags. Flashing lights from emergency vehicles may interfere with automated driving systems.
Okay.
That's why it happened. Flashing emergency vehicle lights can confuse advanced driver assistance features and make them less accurate, according to a study from Japanese technology company Fujitsu and Ben Gurion University of the Negev in Israel. Well, I don't know how that's going to work out.
So here's the thing. So I'll try not to go too far afield in this, but basically, one of the things that they've tried to do is they've tried to upgrade first responders with these high intensity LED lights. So that way you see them earlier, and they, more people see them coming to the intersection to avoid accidents. So in that part of it, so the goal was we're going to make better lights so that they're more visible. Well, no, more brighter, more intense flashing light.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the goal was these new LED lights. And if you ever seen somebody trying to film a police car, like you watch the news or something, those lights absolutely obliterate the sensors.
The old gumballs, yeah.
Well, so the idea, no, this is the new one. So the LED ones. The the old ones were fine. It's the new ones.
Oh, okay.
That absolutely, they basically confuse the sensors on a camera. And so that's what they're running into now is, you pull up to a scene and basically you pull up to a fire truck and the fire truck blinds your self-driving car.
Oh, yeah.
And then your car hits it. So, I mean, again, now this goes back to what we've talked about in the past, is this idea of, we know that problem exists. I mean, everybody knows that this combination of these lights and those sensors, it's not going to work. So we need something else. And this is why I keep saying we need some sort of a beacon. So these emergency vehicles need to have a beacon so that when the car gets anywhere near them, it goes, oh, okay, there's a first, there's
some
a car.
Some kind of identification.
Whenever there's a first responder or a plow truck or anybody in the middle of the road, that beacon should be going off so that the Tesla and anybody else picks it up a mile in advance and knows there's something up in the road.
Then there's no reason for a crash.
Then there's no reason for a crash, but they need to put that in. They need to have that in place.
Well, the study they did identified 16 documented mishaps where Teslas with the autopilot feature crashed into parked emergency vehicles, such as police cars, ambulance, and fire trucks.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense now.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
The study called these instances digital epileptic seizures.
Right. That's a perfect example. It's
dubbing the
phenomenon
phenomenon an epileptic car. Oh my God. Epileptic car.
Epileptic cars. Yeah. So basically you're blind. It's like being blinded. And imagine you're walking and somebody blinds you with a flashlight or something like that. You're gonna walk right into something.
And they noted that the similarities between ADAS platforms, light intensity, and human epilepsy.
Yeah.
Unlike the human condition, though, the cause of the epileptic car are relatively straightforward.
Yeah.
This is just amazing to me. I knew there wasn't something wrong with the autopilot. It was something that it was doing something to the autopilot.
Right. No, that makes perfect sense.
Something they didn't anticipate.
Right. So again, the government's goal, we tried to fix a problem and now we created a new one.
Oh yeah, you hear about all these little crashes they're having, and they're all emergency vehicles.
Right.
And I'm thinking, what is wrong with this people?
Because we've seen videos. We've seen videos like there's videos, they call it, my Tesla predicted a crash. And as the crash was happening, before you even register in your mind there's a crash going on, the Tesla's already slowing down.
Oh my. See, and it will, because those aren't flashing lights.
On a normal car, right? On a normal car on the road, it sees it.
Now here comes the police car or the fire truck,
right?
And it blinds your Tesla,
right?
Yeah, you're right. It has to have something to do with that. Mm-hmm. I can give you an example of that. I bought LED lights for my garage downstairs in the condo here. I have a double bay. Well, the guy across from me decided he wanted them too, and the guy next to me wanted them, and over there wanted them.
They're great. They're nice and bright.
Yeah, now I got static on AM in my radio.
Oh, well, there you go.
So I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I can't play a radio up here.
No, again, that makes perfect sense. Same idea is that all those sensors get obliterated by.
I have an epileptic radio.
There you go.
That's just crazy. That's insane.
Technology.
Technology at its finest. You know, they're telling us that everything's great and the cars are selling and the electric vehicles are hot. And then the next step, they give you this stuff. Nissan is to cut output jobs at U.S. factories in challenging market.
Yeah.
They're calling it. Now, this is the Automotive News reporting this, and I guess they're reporting it as told, because I don't think they want to get sued by these guys. Facing slumping sales, Nissan Motor Company will slash output of 2 high-volume nameplates and shrink its hourly workforce at 3 Southeast factories by up to 13%. You may not sound like a lot, but when you take 13% of 5,000 workers, that's a lot of people getting laid off. In April, Nissan will ditch the second shift on assembly lines building the Rogue and the Altima in Smyrna, Tennessee, and Canton, Mississippi. Output also will be reduced at an engine plant in Dechard, Tennessee. Decherd, Dechard, Tennessee. Someplace in Tennessee. Though no shifts will be cut. They're going to cut the output, but they're not going to cut people. Nissan will offer buyouts to more than 1,500 employees. A source with knowledge of the plan told Automotive News, but they can't identify them. With the most generous packages going to those who have worked there the longest. Company officials declined to say how many U.S. jobs they want to eliminate. Sounds like they're going to eliminate most of them. The U.S. retrenchment is part of the global restructuring as Nissan attempts to reverse a steep decline in sales and profitability. Of course, that goes hand in hand. In November, the Japanese automaker said it would slash 9,000 jobs and cut factory output by 20%. That's a lot of 9,000 people looking for a job. That's a bunch. I don't think we don't have to worry about we won't have to worry about not having any immigrants to pick the beans. We're going to have all these people laid off from the factory. My God. They just keep doing it. They just keep doing it. Ford's not desperate to sell cars, right? No. They're reimbursing dealers for the EV charger installations. So if the dealer puts in an electric vehicle charger, Ford will pay them back for it. Tell me they're not pushing this electric vehicle thing. Ford Motor Company dealers last year's NADA show restless over an electric vehicle commitment program that had just taken effect, with many waiting installation of costly chargers that were delayed by supply and constraints. Well, you know what?
They originally wasn't Ford. They're trying to make them spend like $1 million.
Oh yeah, per dealer.
Yeah.
If you weren't willing to put up $1 million for your dealership to do electric cars, they wouldn't sell you any. Well, now you can't sell any. This year, sizable checks partially covering the cost of those chargers could be landing in dealers' accounts. Part of a plan finalized late last year to reimburse them for the since canceled program. I'm telling you, these guys are desperate.
Wow.
The automakers, in response to requests by its dealer council, is paying back retailers as much as $240,000 during the next few years for investments they made to continue selling the F-150 Lightning, Mustang Mach-E, and Ford E-Transit. There are several ways to receive the money, based on how many Level 3 chargers the dealers installed and how many electric vehicle sales they have by record.
I wonder how many fire extinguishers that includes.
I was just going to say, here, and they're putting all these chargers up.
Upgrade your sprinkler system before you put the Mach-E in your shoulder.
Oh, well, you can't. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have one of those things in my house. I wouldn't have a charger in my garage. That's how that lady out there in Cherville burned down her garage, charging her Mustang on high. You don't do that inside. But then if you go outside to do it, and it's cold, as you're charging, you're losing charge. It's a no-win situation.